so sure you're telling that story right. I think you must be forgetting the stories in your old age. It's me, all right. I thought I'd never find you. I never gave up. Like green food in cold times, it may shrink away, but it will always grow back. It's a pleasure to meet you all. But who's this? A sharp tooth? Well, you couldn't have found a better teacher. It was good to hear you tell one of the long neck stories again. Oh, I know. Your grandpa was a great story speaker. Your grandpa was one of the finest story speakers ever. I tried to learn every story I could from him. But did you know that long necks didn't always have long necks? Back then, the trees were very short, so they could eat tree stars from the top of the trees. The bright circle liked their song so much that it reached down and pulled the trees until they were very tall. But now, the tree stars were so high that the short-necked long necks couldn't reach them. The light made them feel better, and so they lifted their heads up to get closer to the night circle. Kindness of the night circle helped us become long necks. It is an honor to tell the great long neck stories, but some of the long necks have begun to forget their stories. That's why you have to come back and be a story speaker again. We'll travel the land, telling everyone the great long neck stories, just like we used to. Of course he is. But you're the story speaker. The long necks need you. I need you. I can't tell the stories on my own. That you've turned your back on the long necks and all of our traditions. I have nothing left to say to you. Littlefoot? Chomper? What are you doing following me? I don't have anything more to say to him. If he doesn't come with me to be the story speaker, all the great stories will be forgotten. Well, because he's the story speaker. I can't do it by myself. I can't. No. Get on. Quick. Hold on. You shouldn't have followed me. Those rocks are now blocking the way back to the Great Valley. Say, did your grandpa ever tell you the story of Tall Stepper? Tall Stepper grew up to be a great long-necked leader. But when he was young, just about your age, he learned a great lesson about being brave. Tall Stepper and his little sister were playing one day and having a great time. They were having so much fun that the wind became very jealous. The wind swirled and blew around Tall Stepper's sister and carried her into the air and up into its wind cave in a tall, tall mountain. Tall Stepper was scared to follow the wind up into its wind cave, but he knew that if he was going to save his sister, that is what he would have to do. When Tall Stepper reached the cave, the wind made a deal with him. If he could beat the wind in a race down the mountain, his sister would be released. Tall Stepper knew it would be dangerous, but he knew he had to do it to save his sister. No one had ever beaten the wind before. But Tall Stepper found the courage he needed to race faster than any long neck before him. Because Tall Stepper found courage when he was afraid, he was able to beat the wind down the mountain. The wind kept his promise and brought Tall Stepper's sister back from the cave. Tall Stepper grew into a great leader. And whenever he needed to be brave, he remembered how he once had the courage to beat the wind. And sometimes, when I need courage, I think of Tall Stepper too. About what I said earlier, I'm sorry about that. But I can't tell the great stories without you. So, you really think I'm ready to be a story speaker? I don't know what to say. Maybe you're right. In fact, this reminds me of the story about the very first story speaker. Her name was First Voice. One day, First Voice came upon a great cave. But when she walked into the cave,